Hi, everybody. I am Stacey Harris, and I am hosting a very cool event tonight. We are going to be talking all about Elusive Memories with the author Amanda Shofner. So let's first say hi to Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, everyone.
I am really excited tonight because, in addition to asking Amanda some really cool questions about Elusive Memories, and of course, what the future holds for the Hunted series, we're going to be giving away some books. That's right. 3 books tonight we'll be giving away. One we will be giving away randomly later, so stay tuned. But the first two are based on your engagement with the show. So be sure that you are hitting the little Q&A button, which is somewhere around here, and leaving questions, or you can leave them on Twitter using the hashtag Hunted Series. And I will ask Amanda all of those questions, and 2 of you will be receiving a free book. So it's really cool. One of them is US only, but the other is international, so it's really open to everybody. Yeah, so that's what's going on tonight. If you're watching live, be sure to give us a shout and say hey, because that's what really makes this the most fun. But why don't we go ahead and jump in and start talking questions? Of course, we have wine because this is Amanda and I, and if you know us at all, you know that there's likely going to be wine involved
Yes,
in our
I have
conversation.
my glass, and then I also have my bottle over here, just in case I run out.
In
Because you
case
never
things
know.
get crazy.
You never know. You never know.
Always be prepared. It's the Girl Scout motto.
It is. It really is. I
All
was a
right.
Girl
So,
Scout.
were you really a Girl Scout?
I was. I
I was a
was.
Girl Scout too.
And they had like Girl Scout laws or things, and I knew all of them except respect authority, and now that's the only one I remember.
Well, I can understand you having an issue with the respect authority rule. It's why we do what we do, because we both tend to have that issue with that rule.
Right. Right. I just like to do it myself.
It's better that way. All right, so let's jump in and start talking about the books. That sound good?
Yes.
Cool. So for everybody who hasn't read Elusive Memories, which by the way, what are you waiting for? It's spectacular. Can you sort of give us a synopsis? Let us know what it's about. And by us, I mean them, because I've totally read it twice.
um, so when I originally, before I started publishing and people would ask me about it, I would always say it's about a girl named Sam and she doesn't have any memories. Which is
really good synopsis of the book.
And that's the thing, and I think if you've read some of the reviews, it's really hard to review without giving a lot away. But it's basically Sam is kidnapped. She's captured by these people. They call themselves the Northern Alliance Betterment Society, but they call them the Hunters because they hunt the gifted, which are the gifted are like a supernaturally gifted, obviously, like group of humans, so they can do specific things that normal people can't. And she tries to escape, and she's got 2 people that try to help her, but only one of them is actually there to help. So, yeah, that's the story.
I just realized that the acronym for Northern Alliance Betterment Society is NABS.
You know what? That was intentional. That was.
That's why I feel bad that I kind of just realized it, because I have read the book and the novella, both of them, twice. I should have caught on to that before now.
I wanted to give it a name, and the Northern Alliance Betterment Society came in at a very late stage in the editing process, and so I wanted to give it kind of a name, and it's kind of an ironic name because they're not there for the betterment, or their version of betterment is,
It's their version of betterment, even if it's dumb.
Right. And so I was kind of brainstorming with Kelly Apple, who's another author. And she was like, well, what about Northern Alliance Betterment Society? And then it's NABS. And so, yeah, I'm actually hoping to kind of make fun of that in my next book, book 2.
Book 2. I love that. I'm just a little sad with myself that it took me this long to figure it out. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is, when you were talking about the sort of description of the book, you talk about this gift that they have, and the gifted, and and Northern Alliance Betterment Society. It really is its own world, this book.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you come up with this world as a whole?
Well, it actually really started from a dream that I had. And I am known to have really weird, odd dreams. And another series that I'm thinking about writing also kind of born out of a dream. But my dream was basically walking into a room and walking down into a little space and looking for something. And so, if you read the opening scene, that's basically what it is. And so I built it, around that scene. Why would someone be stealing into another room to be rummaging for food?
Yeah.
And just kind of took it from there.
So are dreams sort of the main way that you get all of your ideas, like your character ideas or the way your story moves? How else do you get ideas?
I kind of get them from all over. I think anything that I hear, anything that I see kind of will turn into a story idea. I get a lot of ideas in the shower. I had one specific line that came to me in the shower, and then I ended up putting that in the prologue for book 2, which you've read. And so I had a line, and then I just kind of built a scene around it.
I love that. So I do want to remind you guys, if you're watching live, you can totally be asking your questions in the Q&A area, or just leave them below. I am checking on that on the Google Plus Events page. If you are watching over on YouTube and you don't know what any of these things are that I'm talking about, just go ahead and tweet your questions using the hashtag #HuntedSeries. And I'm, again, keeping an eye over there, too. So I will be happy to ask Amanda any of the questions you have, in addition to my own questions, which I will selfishly continue to ask until you guys give me some other ones. All right?
And you can just say hi, too.
Yeah, totally.
I know people who are watching. I know people are watching me.
That's only slightly creepy. I know they're watching me. But yeah, so be sure to give us a shout, say hey, ask questions. We love it.
Because if you want to win a book, you got to ask a question.
You have to ask a question or say hi. We have to have some sort of acknowledgement that you're here. Maybe it's just I'm typing this because I want a book. That's allowed. We'll take that.
I'm laughing because our viewer number went down.
They're like, we're out. They want us to talk to them.
She knows I'm watching her.
All right, so the next thing I want to ask is, we've kind of been talking about where you get your ideas, but now I want to kind of shift that to characters. Do you base your characters on people you know in real life? And if you do, can I have a character?
I actually do not base my characters on anyone, or I haven't at this point. It was just kind of, I don't know. It was what kind of person would I like to read about? And then that's kind of what I ended up writing about. I did, however, base, a couple of the locations in Elusive Memories are based on, buildings and houses that either I've lived in or I have family members living in, just because when I was describing a place, it was so much easier for me to actually have an actual layout in my head, so you didn't get confused. Or I didn't get confused when I was writing. I think that's more important. I didn't get confused while I was writing, and then if I'm not confused, then it's easier to make sure that the reader isn't confused.
I think that's smart, because you know those places, so you can describe them, sort of the layout of them, very easily. I like that.
And what was actually kind of cool, because I based something off one of my relatives' place, I have pictures of it. So I put one of the pictures up on my Pinterest board for the Hunted.
We have people saying hi. Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you.
I'm laughing at some of the questions. Well, I'm laughing at Alyssa's question.
Oh, okay. I cannot click on them, so you have to click on them. FYI. And
Okay.
Alyssa, how did you decide your endpoint? I think that's actually a really good question because I mean, theoretically, this is your world, and it could go on forever. How did you decide where to end it?
Yes. Well,
it's important.
I kind of have a fun endpoint story. I don't know. Well, okay, it's not really fun. It is kind of interesting because I ended the story, obviously, and because I did this during Nanowrimo, I was just like, just got to get it done.
Tell everybody what that is in case they don't know.
Okay, Nanowrimo, I was doing this in November, and that's the traditional one, and that's where you write 50,000 words in the month of November.
Okay, go back to what you're saying.
Basically what it is. And so that's what I was doing. I was writing my story, and actually this story was not the original one that I intended on writing. This is the one that I started writing on, like, day 2. Because I scrapped the first one, and I'm like, I'm going to do this one. So I basically just ended it, and it was a really abrupt, really awful ending, but with something, and then I rewrote it during edits, and it was kind of better, and I changed who did what at the end, and there was like a lot of change going on, and then that wasn't quite right, so I added a little bit more, because, well, I added a character in there, so then I had to bring the character in. And then
you're like randomly this other person showed up.
I added a couple different characters throughout the editing process.
So how close were you to the final ending when you sent it to like beta readers and you were like just about done? Did it change a lot from that? Because that's pretty far in the game.
Yes. Okay. So I had an ending and I sent it to beta readers and they were kind of like, I'm not really feeling the ending. Like, I can kind of see it, but it's not. There were specific characters that did certain things. Being really vague here.
Read the book and you will find out what these specific things are.
Right. So I had the specific characters doing these things, and my beta readers weren't quite buying the characters' motivations towards it, and I'm like, okay. This ending isn't working, so I need to just, and I wiped out 7,000 or 8,000 words of my ending and completely rewrote it. Completely.
Crazy.
And as far as deciding my endpoint, I was basically looking for like a conclusion to Sam's I don't know how much I want to say here because I don't want to like spoil anything, but
how about this portion of her journey?
Right, it's really, you know, she gets captured, and so I wanted to make sure that at the end, you know, like that part had an ending, but it does kind of open up, you know, for other things to happen. But I wanted Sam to be safe. I think that's.
Well, and you were saying that there is a book 2. Like this world will continue, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you kind of had to end it in an ended way that didn't finish everything. So like your ending wasn't ending, but not the ending.
Right. And right? Not almost. I did go into this ending knowing that book 2 was going to be way far out at the end, and knowing what I wanted to happen then. So I had like an ultimate game plan, kind of.
So while we're sort of talking about there being a book 2.
Yep.
Do we have a title for book 2?
Oh, we do have a title for book 2.
Can we share more about book 2 and the title and maybe when we can expect to read it, because some of us are impatient?
Some of us are impatient.
Okay, I'm impatient. Confession, whatever.
Okay, book 2 is called Hidden Illusions, and it is all about Janie. And if you don't know who Janie is, that's probably because you haven't read Elusive Memories.
Read the book.
Yes, because you will meet Janie in Elusive Memories, and you will get kind of an idea of what she's experienced thus far. And when you meet her, she's not, I think she's like 11 or 12. I mean, she's not very old. And because I didn't want to write like a young adult book, I went ahead. So it's all about Janie, and
it's called?
It's called Hidden Illusions, and it's on Goodreads with a synopsis. Should I go ahead and tweet that out?
Yeah.
I can tweet that out.
One of the cool things you did is you also wrote a 1.5. There's a novella in the middle.
Right. That was because people were demanding.
Included.
People were demanding.
People being me.
You weren't but you weren't the only one.
I know, but I was very passionate about my desires for a novella.
But it was good. I wrote it.
And what's really cool is with that, with the print copy of Elusive Memories, you get the novella, right?
Yes, you do. And that's kind of.
How cool is that?
I was so excited about this that, including that novella at the end of the paperback, that I'm actually thinking about doing that for book 2. And so I already know what I want to do for 2.5, or which character.
That's awesome.
Which no one has met so far. You will meet the character in book 2.
Very cool. And Stephanie Dudman, I'm sorry if I'm totally pronouncing your name wrong, but that's bound to happen tonight. She says, "Hello. Yes. When will the next one be out?" I was right. I'm so excited to read the second book.
Stephanie is the one who is sponsoring one of the giveaways. So Stephanie blogs at Once Upon a Chapter, so you can find her at onceuponachapter.com. She's awesome.
Very cool.
So the next one will be out, I have December. And there's no scientific...
I'm like, you own all of December, or?
No, this is just kind of like, I want to have it out before the end of the year, so I put December. And I'm hoping that I can get it out before then. But, so I have no idea if this is a really bad estimate or not, but I'm just going to go with it. So hopefully December, hopefully sooner.
Yay!
It depends
how much.
Thank
you, Stephanie, for donating or for sponsoring one of the giveaways too. That's awesome.
Yes, and she said you got it right.
If you want to be entered to win those, be sure you're saying hi or leaving a question in the Q&A area.
Speaking of saying hi, I should say hi to Chris. Chris is the boyfriend's mom. She's awesome. Mom. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
And then we have hi, Shirley. Shirley was another one who had a review up today. So, yay, Shirley. Shirley's awesome. She's the one who did my
figure out reviews.
Yes, I got reviews. Okay. Oh, I was supposed to tweet out the link to.
Yeah, because it's up on Goodreads now, so you guys.
It is. I added it before this.
Just for this.
Yes.
Very cool.
All right. Do you have other questions for me?
You guys can also be tweeting along with us at the hashtag Hunted Series. We will see those and acknowledge them in some fashion. Cool. All right. So now we've kind of jumped ahead to you writing another one, a second book. I kind of want to take it back, and I want to ask a little bit like. Writing is kind of a big thing. Like, a lot of people want to write a book. How did you sort of take on that task and say, okay, I'm definitely going to write this book?
I kind of want to say I just did it.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
But I also realized how incredibly difficult that piece of advice is, because yes, it's easy, but it's also, I say that advice is at once the easiest and the most difficult piece of advice that you can give. And So one, it really takes commitment. You want to do it, so you say, okay, what needs to be done in order to do this? And so for me, that was really doing Nano, because at the time, that's what I needed to just sit down and write and knock it out. Right now, I really try to make sure that I have some sort of sustainable writing schedule so that I write every weekday, because I take the weekends off, and I'm doing it in a way that I don't dread writing. I look forward to writing every day, and I'm not spending hours and hours and hours writing every day, because I can't do that. I have other things that I want to do. I have, like coaching clients that I'm talking with during the week, and other tasks that I have to do. And so I think when you want to write a book, you have to really find a way to fit it into your schedule and do it in a way that makes you happy and, gets you excited about writing.
I think that's important. So Alyssa asked if the novella is available separately, and it is available separately, like by ebook, right? Just not in print.
Yes. So you can get it in the ebook. You can get it in the ebook form. It is up on Amazon. It's up on Smashwords. It's up on Barnes and Noble. So it's like all over. But
Can you
if you
remind us
want
of the title?
The Unexpected Gift.
Okay.
And that title has meaning. And so I think anyone who has already read Elusive Memories will probably be able to understand kind of what's going on. So, yes, the novella is at the end of the paperback. It is
and
also
it's available
separately. It is not, however, available on its own in paperback.
But it is via ebook, if you already own Elusive Memories via ebook.
Yes, and actually a cool thing, just to kind of throw this out there, but if you buy the paperback of Elusive Memories, you can get the ebook of Elusive Memories for free with the Kindle Match program.
That's cool.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It's one of those fancy things that you can do now.
Cool. So you talked a little bit about the writing process and what you do, how you sort of write. But Stephanie asked, do you outline or do you just start writing like words?
I'm excited for this question because I just kind of posted about outlines last week on my business blog, but I will kind of rewind and talk about what I did with Elusive Memories. So for me in Elusive Memories, what kind of happened is that I had a story that I was going to write for Nanowrimo in November, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to outline, because every time, or not outline, I was going to plot. So I was going to write out what each scene needed to be. And I realized that was kind of the worst thing that I could have done at that point, and that's kind of why I ended up scrapping that idea. And I moved on to Elusive Memories, and I did nothing. I started with this, the dream that I had, and I wrote it out, and then I just kept writing. And I had no idea what I was writing. I would just kind of sit down and write it, which works for some people. What happened then is that when I was editing, I had so much more work to do to fit all the pieces together. And what I've actually found, and what I talk about in my post on outlines on the Path of Least Revision, is there are a couple really basic outlining techniques that you can use that don't really feel like outlines, not in the traditional English essay sense. One of them is to basically write out a synopsis, kind of like you would read it on the back of the book, although you would probably want to include some spoilers as far as ending, what happens at the end. And the other one that I learned that I really adore came from Wired with Story. or Wired for Story, something like that, which is a book that talks about how your brain is basically wired for stories, and what does that mean for writing fiction. And so as far as outlining goes, you want to take your character, because your character drives your plot, and you want to write a character bio. And so I do kind of a combination of both of these for my books now. I do kind of a synopsis of what's going to happen, and then I also write the character bio, which is usually, I don't include like physical description or anything. It's more like, what is it about this character that truly defines him or her? And I think Janie is kind of a good example of this, just because I think we can talk about this without it being too much of a spoiler, is that, she is very homicidal because she wants to kill the one person in her life who really tore her life apart. And so everything that she does is driven by that desire, and so that's what I include in like a character bio. So what is it about the character that affects everything that they do, because that one event will help me when I'm writing, because then I know how the character will react.
I think that's really, I like that idea of sort of putting together who the people are in your book, and I think that's maybe an overlooked step. I like that. That's very cool.
Right, and so, I think I'll keep going on this.
Go ahead.
A lot of people don't they think about writing and they feel like they have to plot out every scene, and it doesn't have to be that structured. You can kind of say, like, just kind of framework your story, like, this is my character, this is what my character's motivation is, and this is the ultimate goal that they're going for, and then just kind of throwing it out there and saying, okay, now what needs to happen to make it interesting.
I like that. That makes sense. So while we're on the topic of kind of the process and putting this together, like talking about the outline and how you get your writing done, how did you choose to self-publish versus trying to get these books published the traditional way? Like, what made you choose self-publishing?
Well, besides just impatience,
I was gonna immediately say, I'm guessing it was an instant gratification kind of situation. Like, no, I will control this and I will get it done. It speaks to that problems with authority thing we mentioned earlier.
I am very much I don't want to call myself a control freak, because I feel like that's kind of bad. But I do like being in control. I like being able to make those decisions. I like being able to do it on my own time. For me, it was really important because I'm shifting my editing business into coaching, and so I want to be able to coach people through the the self-publishing process. And in order for me to do that, I really had to go into each part of the self-publishing process and what it entails. So yeah, so I went through everything. Basically, if you buy the paperback, the only thing I didn't do myself is the cover and, the editing. Which
you did some of that, because you did a self-edit before you had it.
Yeah, I did a self-edit. I read it out loud to catch mistakes.
Which was entertaining.
It was very entertaining. I was actually laughing at myself. But yeah, so for me, that doing it myself like that gives me an extra bit of ownership and pride in it, knowing that when I open it up, that's like I did it all. I did all the formatting. I did, it's all me.
Well, I think also it's hard when you put together something that's so much a part of you and your creativity and your baby. You birthed all of these people and this world and this story. Like, they're all yours. It's hard to, hand over control of that to, somebody else to, say, no, or yes, we can keep that.
I'm kind of laughing, at the birth metaphor, because I don't really want kids. So basically this is these are my children.
That's cool. It's it's a lot of work to create people, fictional or otherwise. All right. I
Yes.
am a mom, so I will give you that you birthed
I
this book.
yes, but I feel like perhaps birthing an actual child involves more physical pain. I go
No,
through
there's drugs for
plenty
that.
of like mental pain, I guess, but perhaps not as much physical pain.
Well, apples and oranges, really. Apples and oranges. But no, but so you chose to do that for sort of your own having control in a non-control freak way.
Yes, in
I
in
like
a
it.
control positive way.
Control positive way. There you go.
Because
So
I'm not much.
you,
I am not much of a control freak the way that I used to be.
which is
But
good. Growth.
my personality is more like I know how to do this, and so I'm just gonna do it myself.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that feeling. All right, so I also want to talk about because you kind of mentioned the path of least revision and what you do, and through that you have something called the writing sidekick. So did that come from is it because did you start that because you sort of understood the benefit of being a part of a community when you take on a project of this magnitude?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah. I'm trying to remember like the original reason
Maybe. I'm
why I
not
came up
sure.
with. No, I'm trying to remember the original reason that I came up with the community, and I think it's more than just I wanted a paid community for writers, which I've kind of scrapped now. But I know that writing is incredibly lonely because it is very much you and the computer or, paper, and it's you.
Yeah.
Um, and you can really feel like you are the only one in the entire world struggling with writing. And it's kind of an awful feeling, and that's where a lot of people give up. They struggle and they don't feel like they have someone that they can turn to just either pull them out of that hole that they're in or send them in the right direction as far as resources or just being someone that they can be accountable to. And so that's why I created the writing sidekick. I was like, it'd be really cool if I had a group of writers who were all in it together, basically, and they were providing, accountability for each other, and they're providing resources, and they're sharing, some of their frustrations, because I think we can really learn from each other.
I like that. I think that community can be a really critical piece. I know in another instance, I mean, as an entrepreneur, like there's that loneliness. So having that place where you can go like-minded people can be super powerful, and I'm sure the same is true for writing.
Yes, there are a lot of overlaps between being a writer and owning your own business and feeling like you're alone. Because it's kind of one of those things where only other writers are going to understand your writing frustrations, just kind of like
Yeah.
only other business owners, especially if you're an online business owner, I think.
Mhm.
Only other online business owners are going to understand exactly what you go through. And so, in some ways, creating the writing sidekick was my way of bringing other writers together so that we're not struggling alone, and so we have other people who understand exactly what we're going through.
I like it. So, I want to give away the books here in just a second because we're getting towards the end of we're actually a little over our time together. So I want to be doing that. But
Okay, I'm
before
putting
we do
myself
that,
online.
and while we give people a last chance to sort of get their hays, highs, I want to win a book, please pick me in the questions or over using the hashtag Hunted series on Twitter. I want to sort of ask this as we wrap it up, and what are your goals for future books? Like, is this series going to be bigger? Do you have other series you want to write or standalone books you want to write? What can we expect to receive from you book-wise in the future?
All right, so I'm kind of excited about this. obviously, you know I'm writing another book in this series because we just revealed the title.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler. So I'm writing a second book. It's called Hidden Illusions. It's from Janie's point of view. There's also someone else in there who you haven't met yet. And that is really kind of the end point of that series because I only really ever intended it to be, you know, Sam's book and Janie's book, and that was really it. Although I am planning on writing a little novella that will follow book 2. And it features a character you haven't met yet, and it will be short. And then I'm gonna kind of put that series aside, and I'll be done with it. And then I'm moving on to a trilogy. It's a trilogy because I only have 3 books planned about a family, and it involves their supernatural, paranormal type family. And each person in the family gets a book. I'm still figuring out the world building on that, so I can't really say much, but that's my next project. And then I have a standalone mystery, and it's about a man who comes back to his hometown many years after he is acquitted of his wife's murder, and he is going to, you know, find out who actually killed his wife. And that's kind of one of my favorite ones.
I'm super excited to read that one. Super excited to read that one.
Yes. Although I did, you know, I wanted to write that one after Janie's story, but I kind of want to keep going. And I talked about this in my other interview today on Bookswarm about like building a readership. And because I'm doing urban fantasy and then I have another paranormal idea, I kind of want to stick with that for a little bit. And yeah, so then I can go off and do what I want to.
Cool. So we've kind of reached the point where we're going to pick some winners. So pick some winners. Let's pick some winners. How do you want to do this? Do you want to choose them? Go ahead. Ready, set, pick a winner.
I think you should.
You think I should? All right. So, cool. Here's what we're going to do. Anybody who is watching currently and wants to win a book, what I would like you to do is sort of in the questions area, just say, pick me. And we will randomly, super scientifically, scroll around with my eyes closed, and I'll pick one. Or 3. I'll pick 3.
Yes.
So do that. Ready? Set, go. And while we're doing that, I want to touch on one final thing, which we sort of talked about what your goals have been. I want to sort of talk, and we talked about choosing self-publishing. If you had to go back and do it again, would you choose self-publishing again, or do you sort of wish you'd gone another way?
No, I'm happy with self-publishing.
Yeah?
I mean, I've heard it both ways, and if you pay attention to a lot of people, you'll hear positives for both. I think self-publishing is really changing the landscape of publishing. I don't know if it's going to be like the official wave of the future, but there are a lot of positives for authors, especially those who like to be in control.
Which, as we already decided, is kind of you.
Yeah, kind of. In a good way, you know?
All right, awesome. Cool. So, looking. So we don't have pick-me's yet, but we do have some people who have been really fantastic about participating, so I am just going to choose from them. So, I feel like you should be choosing this, but no, you're making me do it. It's just mean. We had somebody over on Twitter. I'm guessing that's Stephanie from here. Yeah, that's Stephanie from here. Okay. Who is sponsoring this very cool giveaway? I'm still waiting for people to say pick me.
I can always give away a copy of book 2 when it comes out, because I feel like a lot of people here have already basically read both of my books.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So we'll do book 1 and 2 book 2s.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yes. Let's do it.
So
someone who hasn't read book 1 needs to win book 1.
Yeah. Has anyone not read book 1?
Everyone here that I've seen has read book 1.
This is kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I said. So let's give away 2 book 2s first.
Although I will say that Alyssa, she's read Elusive Memories because she edited it for me, but I don't know that she owns a copy.
Okay, well, Alyssa, you just won yourself a copy of Elusive Memories. Congratulations. So, let's give away 2 book 2s.
All right. Who wants book 2?
If anybody would like a book 2. Or a novella, if you would like to choose that instead. And
right.
Alyssa, maybe Alyssa would want the novella.
I don't know. And I will say, too, for book 2, I will try to get it to you, like, before it's officially published. So you get, like, an e-ARC, an e-advanced reader copy. You can be all special, like.
Stephanie says we might all be fangirls, so I think she should get a copy of book 2.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So Stephanie, congratulations, you just won a copy of book 2, an advanced e-book edition before the publishing date. Congratulations.
Yes.
Let your fangirl card be strong. And Chris said you're awesome, so let's also give her a book 2.
Yes.
Congratulations to our winners.
Yay!
Also, for hosting this, I'm going to demand a copy of book 2. I'm just saying.
You get, like, book 2 as I write it.
I was going to not tell people that so they wouldn't be super jealous and, like, hack my email for it, but if you want to just give away all my secrets, that's cool.
I'm sure you have plenty of other secrets you can talk about.
I don't.
No?
I don't have secrets, and my hair is naturally this color. Very cool.
Maybe one of my characters will have to have pink hair like yours.
Nice. I feel like I would be super excited about that.
I do have a tendency to pull certain characteristics.
Random traits from people that you know?
Yes. I kind of wonder, so if my boyfriend is watching this, and I don't know if he is, he said he was, but I don't know if he still is.
A while ago. When we started giving stuff away and demanding people participate, he was the viewer we lost.
I accidentally, not on purpose, based Coop's blue eyes on his eyes. And I didn't actually discover this until I was on Pinterest, and I was searching for a pair of blue eyes that would somehow match, like the image of Coop's blue eyes that I had, so I could put it on my Pinterest board and it would be awesome. And I was like, I can't find it. That's because they belong to Kyle. So, yeah, congratulations, Kyle.
So pretty soon, in book 2,
and there he is. I see Kyle. Kyle said, I am.
Awesome. All right, so thank you guys. Hi, Kyle. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for a while tonight and talking about Elusive Memories. Thank you, Amanda, for sharing such cool insights, not just about the book, but the characters and apparently Kyle's eyes. See the things you get? I think we have to do this again for book 2.
Yes. I want to say thank you to you, Stacey, for hosting this because, as I said, I need you. You were awesome. And thank you to everyone who tuned in, to anyone who's watching on the replay, to anyone who has read my books and supported me. You are awesome.
Yes, and thank you for paying me in story because, as you know, that is a very solid choice when trying to entice me to do something. Because whenever I have to get something done and I tell Amanda about it, she goes, "Okay, if you do it, I will send you story." I go, "Okay, it's done." and then I get book, and it makes me happy. So yes, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Amanda, for creating this world that we all enjoy so much. And like I said, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Congratulations to our winners. Yes, books for everyone. Alyssa said books for everyone. I like it. Awesome. Yes. Thank you guys again so much for hanging out. And Kyle said hi to me. Yay!
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.